Hey everybody, so this is my first video that I'm doing for Let's Make Art. I just got my first kit. I did a previous video just explaining what was all in the kit, and I'll put a link to that. But I'm really excited about doing this. Now, just watch the video. They have videos on YouTube. And this particular one, not included in the kit, you're going to need some sea salt. Now, I just wanted to say, and she made a good point on her video, that art is your own version of who you are. She didn't say that exactly, but the point was you don't have to do it exactly like this. This is just an inspirational thing, and I've learned that over the years. I have mentioned that I have taken art classes, watercolor in particular, and that's what I've learned. And it's something that if it's going to stress you out, stop and take a deep breath. And it's really not meant for that. It's anytime you paint or you color or you draw, it should be therapeutic. And you know, that's just my opinion. I think that's what works for me. All right, so I'm just going to delve right in. I'm going to turn on some music and speed it up a little bit, and I'll talk about. I'll put some annotations on here and talk about what it is that I'm doing and the struggles I'm having or things that have been successful. This is the first one. It's the treetop, and yeah, I'm just going to get going on this. I have taped my watercolor paper down. I tend to use too much water, and when you do that, your paper buckles up, and your paint actually starts kind of like, you know, spread out, which sometimes if that's the look you're looking for, go for it. All right, so I'm going to get started. Turn on some music for you. Okay, so this was the first one that I did, and it's already dry. The other one that I was doing in the previous part of this video is over there getting drying out a little bit. So I'm going to take my AARP card, and I'm just going to use it to scrape off the salt. It's okay if you leave a little bit on. I actually like it. But if you're going to, you know, frame this and hang it, you're going to get salt all over your glass. Now, in a second here, I'm going to hold it up closer to the camera so you can see the textures. And then I'm going to do some final touches on this one as well. Okay, so that's, if you can, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a really great texture to it. I'm going to take my smaller paintbrush here, and look at, my paintbrushes are so old, but they still work. So I actually buy my paintbrushes just at Michael's. I know there's actual art stores, but I just never felt it was necessary. Okay, so I really like how this spread out here, but I do want to come in and I do want to add just a tiny bit more detail, and I'm using a darker color to really give it some accent of some leaves. And be sporadic. I mean, leaves aren't uniform, which is always hard for me with art because, I don't know, I think I have a little bit of OCD, so I feel like I need to make lines instead of giving myself the freedom to go through and just put them in sporadically. Now, I don't know if you understood the annotation when I was putting the blue down. That is my version of how the sky is coming through the leaves. I don't know if that's what her intention was, if it was just a mixture of color. Why she was doing that, still a little bit wet right there. And you don't have to cover up every single white spot, but know that the eye is more apt to go to that white instead of the color. So if you're wanting your viewer to look at your painting as a whole, you want to have the color as a whole as well. So and as you can see, it's just adding a little bit more texture to it. I'm also going to go in and make some more very light branches with my black. Okay, I think that should be good. All right, so I'm going to use the same number 2. And oh, I just wanted to make a note here. I have never used liquid watercolor before, so I did notice that as I was using my water and my watercolor, that I did use too much water. With it being so liquid, you don't need to do that. Make sure your brush is not as wet as if you were using the paint out of a tube. Okay, so I'm just going to do some flicking here and there. If you can see, I started with a branch that was here. I like how that got covered, but I'm going to go ahead and pull a little bit out from it. Just like that. Just give it a little bit more detail. And as she said in her video, you know, sometimes like this area here is mostly paint. You know, you can see branches through there, so let's put some branches through there. And they're going to connect, and they're going to be also out in the air, per se. And we didn't have any down here, so let's give it some branches here as well. Bring it out to the edges. It's really just a flick. Nothing, don't push down too hard if you want it to be light. Okay, that's good. So I like her tutorials. She's super funny, and she has a cameraman that's working with her, and the two of them joke throughout the whole time. So I would say the only thing for me that is drawing my eye to this particular one is this branch right here. Because it's black, I'm thinking if I try to paint over it or do anything with it at this point, it's gonna just smear the whole color. So I'm gonna leave it. And then bring this back in, which is not quite dry, but I do like the effect of the salt. If you can see how it sits on the paint and makes like little leaf effects, I'm gonna say. All right, everybody, so I hope you enjoyed this. Just disclosure here, I'm not a professional artist. I just like to paint. So I'm gonna have some other ones that I'm gonna be sharing with you after I watch her YouTube videos, and I'll put a link to hers as well. And I'm encouraging you, try this out. If not this particular one, look and see what else is out there that you can start learning how to paint. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.